The music in Sonic Unleashed makes me feel... The music in Sonic... I love Sonic Unleashed. We're just gonna turn that off. I have never been on an airplane, which in turn means I've never left America. So I'm very uncultured, you could say. But I've played Sonic Unleashed. So really, I have been all over the world, I just don't know it yet. Sonic Unleashed is a game that takes you on an adventure around the world. You visit places like not Greece, not Italy, not China, and Disneyland. Of course, the visuals of these locations really represent their real-life counterparts and cultures well, but without music, I don't think it would be as effective. Today, we're gonna take a look at the various location themes from Sonic Unleashed and talk about how they were made, why they work, and how well they represent the cultures. In my non-cultured opinion, of course. Unlike the previous Sonic games before, Unleashed doesn't rely on the electric guitar all too much. Of course, it appears in songs like Endless Possibility.
I see it, and now it's all within my reach. I see it now, it's always been inside of me. And now I feel so free. And it's possibility.
And Cool Edge Day. Instead of focusing on electric guitar to represent the speed of the game, Unleashed uses what we call in the industry the breakbeat. In fact, there's a lot of samples used throughout this soundtrack in comparison to older Sonic games, but we'll get into that as we talk about the songs themselves. Anyways, let's take a trip to Apatos. Sonic Unleashed basically has 4 tracks per location. A song for the daytime hub, a song for the nighttime hub, a song for the daytime stage, and a song for the nighttime stage. These all usually work together to paint a cohesive picture for every location. The 2 hub world songs will usually share the same motif as each other, like so. While the 2 stage songs are completely different. Another thing the game sort of goes for is using a certain instrument for every location. For Apatos, it's nylon guitar, which all 4 Apatos tracks use in one way or another. Let's break down the theme for Apatos Day. Here, the percussion is being carried by the cajon, those little boxes you sit on and make noise with, as well as a shaker in the right ear, nylon guitar playing rhythm, and of course, flute playing the lead. You'll come to notice that a lot of the hub world music in this game has a very natural sound to it. There's not a whole lot of samples, and it all sounds like live music. It really makes you feel like you're walking down a street with a live band playing off to the side. You can even amplify this sound if you add some busy street sounds and some reverb. Check it out. The instrumentation in Apatos makes the area feel so welcoming and alive. Even if there aren't many NPCs around, the music really helps put you in the white and blue Mykonos-inspired alleyways of Apatos. And the same goes with the nighttime version as well. This version still has flute playing some of the leads, but the main motif is actually moved over to the acoustic guitar. It's also quite a bit slower to match the nighttime. This is where things start to get a bit interesting. Remember that I mentioned that the hub world music has a more natural instrumentation? Well, in the stage music, it starts to differ a bit. Let me show you something neat. The acoustic guitar in Windmill Isle is actually a sample just sped up and cut. It goes to show that Tomoya Ohtani really knows how to get the most out of samples, which you'll see more of later in this video. This track is also where the breakbeat comes in for the first time, aside from the main theme, you know. And yeah, it sounds fast. It sounds real fast, which makes sense. This was and still is the fastest Sonic has ever been in a video game. In fact, putting a breakbeat over almost any song will make it sound fast. I mean, it doesn't sound good per se, but it definitely sounds faster. This song also features the world's happiest sounding violin take ever. It just sounds like some dude is ripping on the violin and having the time of his life. I like to imagine they look like this while recording it. Windmill Isle Night pulls us back a little bit since it's, you know, nighttime. Of course it needs to be a slower song, but this track manages to keep the rhythm rolling despite that. This track has some really nasty sounding organs here, as well as some more synthetic sounding percussion and synth plucks. It's a bit hard to hear what kind of bass is being played, but in the part around 2 minutes and 17 seconds, when a lot of the instruments break away, you can hear it more clearly, and it kind of sounds like a sampled upright bass. I could be completely wrong though. We've been in Apatos for a while now, so I think it's time to take a trip to Mazuri. Man, that percussion is so good, as well as the chanting too. The main instrument in Mazuri is the flute. I'm not sure if it's a normal flute or some other flute-like instrument, but it is definitely a woodwind of some kind. Admittedly, I don't know that much about African instrumentation, but I will say this song really makes you feel like you're in a savanna. Wait, now the daytime music is great and all, but when the sun goes down, this next track just hits. This version of the song uses some of the same instruments, just very pulled back. And of course, there's more flute. I think my favorite part of this track is actually the mallet instrument that's used throughout. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but it makes the song sound like it's from the Chow Garden. God, could you imagine every hub having its own themed Chow Garden? This track would fit right in. Now this is where the fun begins. This game's soundtrack might not use the electric guitar as much as previous Sonic games, but man, when it does use electric guitar, it's so impactful. It also layers with the flute playing the same melody. Speaking of melody, have you ever played Sonic 1 on the Game Gear? That's right, Savannah Citadel's melody is actually from Sonic 1's ending theme from the Game Gear. It's of course reworked slightly, but it's such an obscure callback, I love it. Moving over to Savannah Citadel Night, this track also has some great flute work. What I love the most is what I deem the Final Fantasy violin. I call it this because it sounds just like a violin part from a modern Final Fantasy game. Really high and natural sounding. Now everybody, put your coats on, because we're going to Holoska. You know, for a place that's so cold, this song makes you feel extremely warm. Using the higher end of the piano, bells, and harp can really make a song sound like a cold winter. But depending on what key you write the song in can make a huge difference. Here's the same song with the same instruments, but in minor. See, now it sounds more like a brutal cold. Kinda interesting how that works. I feel like this track is pretty underrated, especially for how well it makes Holoska feel warm and welcoming. Holoska Night pretty much achieves the same thing, but it more so sounds like a lullaby, like you're underneath the warm covers about to fall asleep in the winter. Anyways, Cool Edge is another stage song with electric guitar in it, and it's sick. This track has a bell synth-like sound for the lead, and it really makes it sound cool. Let me ask you something. Do you like Naruto? I imagine this was a complete coincidence because it isn't really exactly the same bass line. It's just funny how it's in the same key and shares a lot of the same notes. I haven't mentioned it until now, but Holoska is an area that only kind of has a main instrument. It's not really just one instrument, but an overall use of different mallets and bells in one way or another. And Cool Edge Night is no exception. That synth bass is so sick, especially that slide. It's also in stereo, so it really tickles your ears in a good way. This track also, again, uses a bell-like synth for the lead. But since this song isn't in major like the rest of the Holoska tracks, it gives that more brutal cold feeling that I mentioned before. Fumie Kumatani really made some banger tracks. Anyways, you guys like spaghetti, meatballs, stuff like that? There's nothing like a good swing track with upright bass, acoustic guitar, and of course, accordion. This is very obviously stereotyping Italy, but it just sounds so good. This is also another track similar to Apatos Day where it sounds like a live band playing on the side of the street. Spagonia Night is a similar vibe to the day theme, just a more heavy focus on the acoustic guitar with some ad-libs from the accordion. The guitar work here is actually insane. Remember how I said every area pretty much has an instrument or sound that is used in every song to signify it? Rooftop Run Day is actually one of the few songs that have no correlation with the area it's played in. Instead of using accordion or acoustic guitar like the Spagonia Day and Night songs, it's a straight up banger of a rock piece with the full band and even a string section. And the absolutely raw instrumentation gives the vibe that a band is actually following Sonic around playing music. Although because of how fast Sonic is going in this game, it'd probably sound like this. So that's how they came up with the idea for the boost filter. Rooftop Run Night is actually the only nighttime stage song not written by Kenichi Tokoi or Fumie Kumatani. Tomoya Otani usually handled a lot of the day stage music, but he actually took the helm for this one. And and you can definitely tell Otani wrote it. It's got the smooth bass line, constantly moving drums, and that funky guitar. Otani's music tends to include more stringed instruments like electric guitar and bass, and this track is no exception. The Great Wall of China. I mean, what world adventure is complete without visiting fake China? And I'm so glad we get to in this game because the instrumentation of the music is absolutely beautiful. The melody uses a combination of a Chinese bamboo flute and the canonically best bowed instrument of all time, the erhu. Shout out to Ben Elliott for helping me identify the flute here. I also love this second part of the song where the bamboo flute and erhu play the melody at the same time, as well as having a more traditional string section in the back playing these huge chords. And then the night version takes those vibes, slows it down, then adds a nice drum beat. It almost feels like you're at a fireworks festival. Chun-nan might honestly be one of the most tonally consistent areas in this entire OST. Every track uses pretty much the same instrumentation minus the differences in percussion, which makes sense because Kenichi Tokoi composed all 4 tracks for this area. Dragon Road Day uses synthetic drum samples and mixes the lead erhu with this really cool sounding mallet instrument. And the nighttime version of Dragon Road also uses the erhu for the lead, but it has this nasty sounding bass tone with these dissonant piano chords in the back. It's so sick. Now, the next area we're about to talk about has some of my favorite music in this entire game, which I also feel like is some of the most underrated music in this entire game. So, let's listen to the music from Shamar. This song sounds like a huge party. The clapping hands, the 4 on the floor beat, the brass, the crazy acoustic guitar solos throughout, it's so unbelievably good. I also just have a soft spot for this style of music. The main instrument for Shamar seems to be saxophone, but it does slightly deviate from that in the daytime stage theme. Once again, Otani kills it with the use of samples. Check this out. This is actually an ode sample from GarageBand, just sped up and cut like this. This is also the same sample I used in my own remix of Arid Sands. This track does keep a similar vibe to the Hub World music, but doesn't use any saxophone. But worry not, because the nighttime version of Arid Sands goes full in on brass and saxophone. I just love how crisp the brass stabs are, and the melody being played an octave apart on sax is so good. Admittedly, this song doesn't have as much to do with the Middle Eastern theme of the other songs, but it still does a decent enough job portraying it. It's still a banger of a song either way. What, do you think I just forget to talk about the best goddamn song in this game? Honestly, I don't really know how to put in the words about how I feel about this track, so I'm just gonna do a live reaction of my favorite part. So we got the main melody right here, and then it pulls back. We got the trumpet there and the horns doing the chords in the back. Slight percussion comes back in. And here we go, listen to these stabs right here. Then they keep building. Another layer with the saxophone. Another layer. And then it pulls back. It's so good. It's so good. This is the best song ever made in the history of humanity. I think it's safe to say this is my favorite track in the game. But we still have a few more areas to talk about, so let's head over to America. Those smooth organs, the bongos, funky wah guitar, and of course the harmonica. You can't have New York City without a harmonica. Just listening to this track reminds me of the walking scene from Spider-Man 3. But instead of Tobey Maguire, we have Sonic the Hedgehog. As a professional American, I have never been to New York City, but I imagine nighttime in New York City sounds something like this. As you can hear, harmonica is definitely the choice of instrument for this area, at least so far. This nighttime version sort of sounds like a lo-fi version of the daytime theme. We more or less keep the same instrumentation here aside from the drums being more synthetic sounding. Where this area's music starts to change it up a bit is with the daytime stage, Skyscraper Scamper. The sax solo in the intro is absolutely nasty, and this track is fast. It kind of has a breakbeat carrying the song, but it's not quite a breakbeat. What I think does a lot of the heavy lifting for the pure speed of this track is the panning arpeggio synth. It doesn't play throughout the entire track, but it really gives emphasis to the sections without a lead melody. I also think this break section here in the middle is really cool, especially if you add guitars to it. It gives a tense feeling before building right back into the main melody, and the genre sort of changes again with the nighttime version of Skyscraper Scamper. This is straight up a big band jazz song, and I love it, especially the big upright bass playing constantly, and the drum work here is just fantastic. I also love that they used muted trumpet and the vibraphone for the main melody. It makes it sound almost like something out of a Sly Cooper game. And that leads us to the next area of this game, Adabat, which is inspired by Southeast Asia, which I know next to nothing about. But like I said, I've played Sonic Unleashed, so I am automatically qualified to talk about this. Also, while writing the script, I decided to make a tier list at the end of the video. A tier list to decide which Sonic Unleashed song is the greatest. But in the meantime, let's talk about Adabat. Have you ever heard of gamelan? It's a percussion ensemble originating from Indonesia with mostly mallet percussive instruments. It's really a beautiful sound, and it's used predominantly in these two hub themes. The day and night themes of Adabat are actually super similar in comparison to the rest of the areas in this game. Where the daytime has tons of percussion going, the nighttime pulls it back but pretty much keeps the same structure and instrumentation otherwise. His other songs are great, but I feel like this area really shows Kenichi Tokoi's biggest strength. He can make these world tracks that can portray entire cultures of music. It's fantastic. Moving over to the daytime stage itself, we carry over a few elements from the hub world themes, but they're turned up to 11. It's not exactly gamelan, but this track does use some sort of bell/mallet-like samples and synths. This is another 4 on the floor song where the kick hits on every beat, with the synth bass going in between. It's really effective at portraying just how intense and challenging this stage is, as well as the environment that surrounds it. The nighttime stage brings back the gamelan sounds, but introduces this absolutely beautiful cello and piano. Those low chords on the piano are so effective at making this feel like the final stage. I know Eggman Land exists, but that place has no culture, so it doesn't count. It feels melancholic and final. Just this last challenge and the pieces of the world go back together. Add this sound in with the visuals of the stage and man, it doesn't get much better than this. And that was the Sonic Unleashed world music. As I've shown, this game is extremely good at making you feel like you've experienced these cultures in one way or another. And I would know as a professional American myself. Before I started writing the script for this video, I actually had the idea to make my own Sonic Unleashed song inspired by a country that's not represented in the game. So I decided to make a song inspired by Australia. With, of course, my friend Ben on the didgeridoo. I originally planned on deep diving into how I made that song and how I use similar techniques to what the composers use for Sonic Unleashed, but this video is already long enough as it is, so we'll save that for another time. You can go still check out the song itself though. Oh yeah, I was supposed to do a tier list, wasn't I? Here we go. I lied. Now go play Sonic Unleashed, or else.